Good morning, Highland family. I am in my new office here at Highland, and I know that most of you won't be able to come visit with me here until our situation changes with COVID. So I thought I would bring my office to you, and so I can introduce you to different places around my office each time I sign on. But this is a really special section of my office to me, and I wanted to share just a bit of the story behind that with you. Several of you have asked me about Jack Birdwhistell and how I am related to him. And so Jack was my uncle and just a really dear mentor and encourager and friend in my life. He was my professor at Georgetown College, and I know many of you know him from Georgetown or from days at Southern Seminary. And Jack had a signature phrase. He would write at the end of every email, every card, every note, "Shine on, Uncle Jack." Or at Georgetown, people called him Doc. And so "Shine on" was his mantra. But you may not know that it was actually inspired by the quote by Thomas Merton that I'll be talking about in a moment. It's a quote that is hanging outside of your sanctuary, actually. And so when I saw that quote the weekend that I came here to visit with the staff, that was a really defining moment for me, because I felt like that was Jack's encouragement for me in my discernment as well. So I have that quote framed on my wall here, and this is actually a gift from Bob Cunningham that I know the deacons have received in the past, and he knew how special that quote was to me and wanted me to have that in my office. I've got this beautiful picture of the light shining through the stained glass window here in our sanctuary, and then I've got this great box of memorabilia for my Uncle Jack that I hope you can come see sometime. It has pictures of us. It has a note from Frederick Buechner. So if you know Frederick Buechner, he's one of my absolute favorite writers, preachers. Jack introduced me to his work when I was in college, and after he passed away, we were going through his belongings and realized that he and Buechner were writing letters back and forth to each other. And so I have one of those letters framed in here, which is really special to me. I also have a package framed in this box. And the story behind that is that Jack loved to send books. That was his love language. And so every now and then a book would show up on my doorstep, and he'd say, "Thinking of you, thought you might enjoy this." And a few days before he passed away, he had emailed me and he said, "Hey, there's a book in the mail headed your way." And the day I got back from his memorial service, that book was on my front doorstep. And so I saved the package that it came in. He wrote it to the Reverend Mary Alice Birdwhistell and always took great pride in writing that. And so I've always treasured that as well. An interesting thing that happened after he passed away, I think it was Roger Jasper, who is a pastor in E-Town, wrote on Facebook, "I thought I was Jack's favorite." And that is just the way he lived his life, that we all thought we were his favorite. Like, I thought I was his favorite because I was his niece and his student. And then we realized that he was sending probably hundreds of books every week that we were all the recipients of. And I thought, what a beautiful way to spend your life, that you just pour yourself out in books and in notes, and that is the way people know your love for them. So I wanted to reflect for just a minute or two about this Thomas Merton quote that I know is significant to Highland, that is hanging in your hallway, and would love to hear from you about maybe why this quote has been significant to you over the years. But I wanted to share what it means to me, and particularly what it means for me in this moment. And so one day in October of 1958, Thomas Merton, who, if you don't know, is a monk from Kentucky, wrote the following words in his journal. He said, in Louisville at the corner of 4th and Walnut, I was suddenly overwhelmed with the realization that I loved all these people, that they were mine and I was theirs. If only they could all see themselves as they really are. If only we could see each other that way all the time. If only everybody could realize this, but it cannot be explained. There's no way of telling people that they are all walking around shining like the sun. I was reflecting on that quote this morning, and I realized that I haven't met about 95% of you yet. I hope that will change in the weeks to come as we are able to meet safely. But I can say that something like this happened for me yesterday in worship at the corner of Grinstead and Cherokee. As I looked out across the sanctuary with the light shining in these beautiful windows, as I looked at our staff and the people gathered together for worship, as I imagined so many of you watching from home, I was suddenly overwhelmed with this realization that I've already begun to love these people, people I haven't even met yet. If only they could see themselves as they really are, as beloved children of God. If only we could see each other that way all the time. If only everyone could realize this, but it cannot be explained. There's no way of telling people that they are walking around shining like the sun. And so, Highland, I hope that today you can remember that you radiate God's light. I hope you will take a few moments to see that light within yourself, to kindle that fire that the Spirit is burning within you. And not only that, but that you will see that light shining within your neighbor. And that you might remind them of the very same thing that they can't often see in themselves either. And so may we care for this light within us. May we see the light within one another, and may we shine on in the days ahead. Know that I look forward to meeting you all so much. There will be more information about that in the newsletter this week, about ways you can sign up for a time to meet with me, and I'm really looking forward to those face-to-face times. Blessings on your week, and we'll talk soon. Bye.